People are really mad at Diablo 4 right now. Uh-oh.
Hi, Scissorin here with another video, and today we're going to talk about a Twitter thread about battle passes, etc. It's a very interesting Twitter thread, and while I am technically taking the day off today, this was just too interesting for me not to make a video about.
Yeah.
Now, it started out by a question on Twitter from a writer for Forbes saying, I did not do previous generation seasons. I don't really get it. I don't want to level season-specific characters from
I did not do previous generation seasons. I don't get it.
scratch. Can I still use my permanent ones to progress the battle pass? No? Well, then I'm not doing that. Long-term goal is to get everything to 100 and wait for expansion, I guess. I get the battle pass is a new aspect, so Rod. Hello, Paul. Yes, to take part in the seasonal questline, mechanics, seasons, or journey battle pass, you will need to create a new seasonal character. Playing campaign with a seasonal character if you so desire or need to finish will also progress the season journey and battle pass. So when I talked about our push after level 100, a lot of people said things like resetting a dungeon over and over again or doing the same content over and over again is an exploit and should be bannable.
Resetting dungeons is an what fucking idiot thinks this?
Etc. And I replied things like, well, gotta remember, a lot of these people have never played an ARPG before. They don't get it. This is just what you do in ARPGs. In fact, in every other ARPG.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought I was being condescending or trying to be snarky.
But
it
it's
just
true.
comes naturally to me to be condescending. I don't actually do it on purpose. I was actually being really serious here.
Yeah.
Because you gotta remember, with their ad campaign with like celebrities like Megan Fox and with brands like KFC, they've dragged in a whole new audience that actually have not played ARPGs before. And this thread is a really good example of this. Here is one example. I'm a new Diablo player and a new dad. I have only 1 hour a day to play the game, if that. My current character is only level 11. You're saying I should basically not even play this game, right? So there's some
Level 11? You can get an hour. So if you play an hour a day and the game's been out for 21 days, or let's say he got it without early release, so it's been out for 16. You tell me after 16 hours in this game, you're only level 11? What the fuck?
communication here. There are some people that think that their characters will get deleted or be completely irrelevant, and there's a lot of people that are just upset at the fact that they can't progress the battle pass with their eternal characters. Now, being able to progress your battle pass with the eternal character is not the worst idea either. I actually think that would probably solve a lot of these problems. But if you look through the thread here, having to redo everything kind of sucks, which, you know, that's very core for ARPGs, right?
Yeah, that's the way the game
also
works.
Loads of people in this thread, and this was the most fascinating thing to me. There are loads of people saying they're Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 veterans, and Diablo 2 and 3 did not have seasons. Whereas
where do these people come from, bro? Where do they come from? Where are they? Oh my fucking god. I will say, however, I would feel the exact same way that they did if I had to refarm my renown.
most of us who are actually ARPG players are like,
huh?
then there's
yeah,
like
what
this.
the fuck?
There's no way this is going to apply with most of the player base. Hope you got a plan B for when mouths drop 90%.
Like, I don't think these people realize what happens in the game. Like, I'm level 81 or something, and I basically beat the game. Like, I can get better gear, and I can get, like, you know, a piece of gear that's better than what I have slightly. But, like, I can clear tier 4 super easily. I can do Nightmare. I probably do Nightmare tier 50, something like that, with my build, which is, like, a super offensive build. You didn't kill Lilith? Who cares? So, I mean, I don't care. It's gonna take fucking forever. Like, my gear is pretty much fine. I'm happy with my gear. It's good. I don't want to spend another 20 levels doing the exact same thing. Fuck. Like, am I crazy? I feel like, listen, how many of you guys hit basically like this is the problem with, let me see here. So this is the Diablo power curve, okay? And this is the PoE power curve. shit. That just pretend that fucking didn't happen, okay? So it's like this. So right here, this is like, let's say, I would say like 50 hours invested, or maybe like 80 hours. So the problem with Diablo 4 is that after you spend about 80 hours into the game, all of the gear upgrades that you can get are so minimal that they're not going to provide you with a tangible benefit, anything like what you had achieved before then. So how many of you guys are level 70 plus, and the only gear that you can get is like the same gear that you already have, but like the secondary stats are rolled a little bit higher, right? Yes. Everybody's saying this, right? So like that, I think, is the problem with Diablo 4 endgame. That's it, because there's nothing else to do. So you want me to farm more and more and more for like, you know, 40 or 100 more hours just to get to level 100, just to kill one boss that doesn't drop anything good? You know, doesn't seem super exciting. They need a tier 5. Yes, they need a tier 5 that begins at level 80. That's what I think they should do. Or level 85 or level 90. They need something beyond that. Because right now, it's just like there's nothing to do. And also, like, another big problem with Diablo 4 is this. It's you have, like, your, this is, like, your tier 2. And then you have your tier 3 capstone. And then you have your tier 4 capstone. And then this is Uber Lilith, right? Actually, let's go ahead and just do it and make it more to scale. That's the problem. There is no other challenge in the game between Elias at level 70 and Uber Lilith at level 100. It's intentional? Okay, well then it's bad. Okay. Yeah, then it's shit. Okay, it sucks. All right, it's intentionally bad. Okay, got it.
Folks have no idea this is going to happen. When they get the battle pass and find out, they'll know quickly how bad of an idea this was, and hopefully have a quick way out of it that can be implemented within a couple of weeks. Otherwise, rip D4. This is like, as an ARPG veteran, like I have over 35,000 hours in ARPGs between Diablo 2 and Path of Exile.
That's
this
a long
is
time.
Crazy to me. I didn't realize
It's about me and WoW.
The out of touch cap or something between casual players and veteran players were so big, because I feel very out of touch.
Yeah.
Because the entire thread is like this. This isn't like, it's mostly like, it's
to be fair, the guy that ratioed the person about ARPGs having seasons has like way more likes than all of these guys put together, right? So like obviously most people know that ARPGs have seasons. It's just that Diablo 4 was so successful, it attracted an audience of people that don't really play ARPGs. They don't appreciate ARPGs. They're just people that are playing the popular game, and that game happens to be Diablo. Honestly, the guy's right, though. The marketing for Diablo 4 brought in so many new players, and once they figure out how the majority of this works, the casual base will leave. I don't think the casual player base will leave because they have to re-level characters. I think the casual player base will leave because they have to re-level characters and secondary systems. Because, like, if you're replaying the game, like something like Dark Souls or one of these other, like, games that you just replay regularly, I think it's fine. Like, a roguelike is effectively a game that you replay over and over and over. So it's not about whether you have to replay it or not. It's about whether the replay value is new.
Like 70% things like this, and then there's 30% ARPG players going like, but you bought an ARPG.
Yeah.
They've always said they were going to have seasons.
I also, I do have to say that I do not like the idea that a game has a label of ARPG, MMO, FPS, etc. And because of this label, the game has certain rules. I think this is a very reductive and very constraining viewpoint that's not healthy for a game. I want Blizzard to try and do raids in Diablo 4. I want them to just try and see what happens. Just do it. Do it. See what happens. And if it doesn't work out, then get rid of it. Do it in a season, and if people don't like it, then get rid of it. I'm not saying implement it for sure and force it on everybody. No. But I'm saying try it out. Take risks. Do new stuff. Like, PoE took huge fucking risks. Massive risks all the time. And whenever they don't turn out too well, well, they don't go to core. And if they do turn out really well, they do go to core. The system is built in. Diablo 2 players came from Destiny 2, since Destiny's pretty low point already, has flawed history. Oh yeah, I was gonna watch that Destiny video. But either way, see what happens equals wasting $200 million in development, slowing down production, potentially wasting all the money. All the bigwigs are not gonna have it. What I'm saying is that not taking a risk is taking a risk. Because if you play it safe, you run the risk of boring people. So you shouldn't do that. You should always take risks, because the only thing that's more risky than taking risks is not taking them. And I actually don't think it's a risk to not take risks. I think it's a guarantee that you will fail. It just doesn't, you're just not really sure when. Because you're not innovating where everybody else is.
Gotta be honest, as a new player, I don't see myself grinding like this again. If I have to start from scratch from season 1, I'm most likely done maining Diablo. So a lot, again, miscommunication.
Yeah, again, like, imagine how many of these people, like, how many of you guys feel the exact same way? PoE will never take a risk turning PoE into an MMO, and you know it. I think PoE took a huge risk with Sanctum. I think Sanctum was a massive risk. Am I crazy? I think it was very big. And also, I think the idea of PoE 2 is a huge risk, too. Blight. Yes, Blight is a huge risk as well. Harvest? I don't know about Harvest. But yeah, it was a big shift in gameplay loop. Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, it was a risk inside of the context of what they want their game to be. I'm not saying PoE should take a risk like adding anime cat girls into, you know, your fucking, into your maps. Or like adding in like a gotcha system for like cards that make your character stronger, like in Lost Ark. I'm not saying this. I'm saying it's inside of the context of PoE, it was a risk. So yeah, I think that overall the risks that games take and the good risks that they take should be carried forward.
They don't know, maybe
I'm curious, sorry, I keep pausing. How many people do you think would be okay with this? Or how many people feel this way about having to re-level, and you wouldn't want to re-level if you had to do Renown, and not having to do Renown would change how you feel? Because personally, that's where I'm at. I feel like if I had to redo my Renown, I'm not having a good time. I'm not playing the game if I have to do more Renown. Yeah. It's a waste of time.
Season 1, I'm most likely done maining Diablo. So a lot, again, miscommunication. They don't know maybe that you don't have to do the campaign again. You don't have to do the Lilith statues again. You don't have to explore the map.
But you have to do all the dungeons again. You have to do the strongholds again. You have to do the secondary quests again. You have to run around and do all this shit again. Like, that's enough. Like, why, like, again, with a person like Diablo 4 is aimed at people that have limited time to play the game, right? And that's why the loot is easy. That's why you hit this fucking threshold so fast. It's because we're not the target audience. The people that want to play for 1,000 hours in a season and then still have something to farm for, we're not the target audience. The people that want to just grind for a few weeks and then hit the plateau on their gear, beat the game, and that's it. And that's fine. That's good. But you can't go and turn around and tell them they have to do the same stupid fucking side quests every season. It's like so counterintuitive.
Again. Now, a lot of people are saying they're going to play for Season 1 because they've already bought the Battle Pass then, and maybe they just realize, wow, actually, that was a lot of fun, and they continue playing. But it'll be very, very interesting to see. I really want to like see how my audience feels about this, because obviously I'm assuming you guys will be a lot more biased towards me and be confused as I...
Yeah, I think so too. And like, you look at this interaction. I'll be honest, since I paid for the first season, I'll make a new character, but after that, I'm done. Re-leveling after the same content with some new small twists isn't my idea of fun to rinse and repeat, but I guess time will tell how things go. And then this guy responds, that's how it's always been. That's actually not how it's always been. There haven't been renown bars in ARPGs. That's how it works in Fortnite. There's no renown in ARPGs where you have to do multiple hours of side quest throwaway content that you don't even listen to the dialogue for. You're just doing it so you can fill up a bar. Like, there's none of that in Fortnite. That's not true. The problem is not re-leveling, it's having to re-level renown, in my opinion. Now, there will be some people that never want to re-level, and that's fine. However, that's why they have the Eternal Realms. That problem is already solved.
I am and be like, huh? Because I've found it very weird that so many people didn't know that ARPGs had seasons and a full reset every 3 months. And Diablo 4 being even more casual friendly because it's not really a full reset. Here's another one.
Yeah.
And why the hell am I playing this game right now if literally all the time I've spent is officially less than irrelevant? What exactly is the point to the base game? I feel like this user just touches on the whole point of gaming.
I mean, why do you, like, what do you mean, why the hell have you been playing the game? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, what do you think if you beat season 1, like, you're going to, like, something's going to happen? Bro, you wasted your time no matter what. It's a fucking game. Like, why are you playing the game? For fun, idiot. The fuck do you think you're doing it for? What do you mean, why are you playing the game? If you have to ask the question, why am I playing the game, then yeah, you should probably stop. Like, what do you think? Like, you beat season 1 and you're going to get, like, a diploma? You beat season 1 and, you know, Blizzard sends you a new car? No. You beat season 1, you fill up the battle pass, and you get a fucking sparkly thing over your head that says, hey, I gave Blizzard $20 and I played their game for 1,000 hours.
Right? If you're not enjoying the time you're spending while you're spending it, then gaming as a whole is a waste of time for you.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, I'm not thinking now that I'm 34 that I'm regretting playing Gaia Online when I was 12 years old because I no longer
that shit was fun.
Right?
I didn't play that one, but it was wow.
You know, either you're enjoying it in the moment or gaming as a whole probably isn't for you, right? You're not making permanent progress in your life unless you turn it into a job.
Yeah, like, what's this permanent what progress do you think you're going to make in your life in Diablo 4? Like, what's your best case scenario here?
It's a very fascinating thread. It's pretty much all like this. Unfortunately, very clear that many did not know what they were signing up for. It's been a very fascinating read. I read like probably 100, 150 different comments now, and my mind has been blown. While obviously I made it clear that I knew that there was a lot of casual audience enter the genre for the first time, did not think it would be levels of this magnitude. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.
So, I actually think that what Blizzard should do, it's very easy to say Blizzard should say fuck these guys and ignore them. I think that Blizzard should just let you do your battle pass inside of the Eternal Realm. Like, why punish these people that don't want to have to re-level again? Yeah, just let them do it. Doesn't hurt anybody. Yeah, it's a fucking who cares? Are they not planning to do that? No, they're not. And that's what the core complaint is. Let me see if I can show you guys what it said. The seasonal quest line. Mechanics and season journey into the battle pass. You need to create a new seasonal character. I think that seasons, so this is kind of what, just give them standard league? Well, they do have standard league. It's called the Eternal Realm. Depends on what the mechanics are for the battle pass. Could be some season content. Yeah, but like there's no way that they can't just supplement like, let's say, like, okay, there's like the season 1 boss that you have to kill, and you just change the battle pass for the Eternal Realm to killing Uber Lilith or something like that. How is this hard to do? Feels like most people are expecting for it to be an MMO rather than an ARPG. Well, in an MMO, you have to re-level for expansion, so, like, I don't even think that makes sense either. Paul Tassi made a video about it. Really? Let me see. So this is the guy that was critical about Diablo 4's seasons. Here we go. Let's actually listen, and we're going to listen to this guy, and we're going to give him an honest... I'm going to try to listen to what he's saying, and I'm going to give it an honest perspective. I know, obviously, he's coming from a position that is very disagreeable to many people, so I think that in the nature of that, it's even more important that we give him the benefit of the doubt, and we listen to what he has to say. Here we go. Pretend this is a cool animated intro. Okay.
Alright, I am back with another Diablo.
And you can see this is the target audience for Diablo. A man probably in his late 20s, his 30s, with some gray hairs in his beard. This is the target audience.
More video. I almost said Diablo 2. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I have obviously still been playing a whole lot, other than my obligatory hour of Destiny per week, which will commence again tomorrow at Reset.
That sounds fun. Mandatory
I don't know how many weeks
fun.
the story's even really continuing. I think maybe another 3. I'm not sure. I think there's an exotic quest at some point too, which will be fun.
Oh, wow.
But in terms of Diablo, I now have a 72 Barbarian,
Okay, not too bad.
56 Rogue, and a 32 Druid, I think.
So he's probably put like 150, 100 hours into the game. That's pretty good.
So as you can see, I am skipping around quite a bit.
Yeah.
And people are telling me that I'm doing this wrong because today I want to talk about the seasonal model. So I spent all morning trying to like figure out exactly how the seasonal model is going to go based on how Diablo 3 and I guess 2 seasons worked, based on things Blizzard has said already.
Right.
And then based on like people trying to fill me in at least on how they think it works, and then some stuff is like still a little nebulous. So the main crux of Diablo seasons are to have a seasonal character and level them from scratch, like over the course of however long the season is. Now they're going to be, I don't remember how long they were in D3, but like they're going to be 3-month seasons, so for a year. The idea is that you will take a character from 1 to whatever. There are seasonal ladders, so you want to, if you want to try and climb high on those, I know there will be a number of competitive people trying to do that. But for most normal people, the process will be kind of re-leveling a character, playing the new content. There'll be new missions and stuff.
Yeah.
New enemies, they said, which is
Hopefully
I think, a
new
change,
bosses.
and then some new loot.
Sure.
But things are changing a little bit from D3, and the idea of re-leveling a character every season just doesn't really hold a lot of appeal for me. I always have viewed Diablo as kind of a long-term investment where I want to...
I feel like with a lot of, I mean, like, the thing is with PoE, you can play on standard, but I think that the majority of the player base plays on the seasons. I would assume, I would say like 80-90% of people play seasonal. With Diablo, Reaper of Souls, I feel like everybody played the seasons. Like, that was the content. Like, I never saw content of people playing the base game.
Get my characters to max, give them 1 to 3
Why
super
play
powerful
standard?
builds
Yeah.
where I feel like they're very strong. Farm, top end loot until I think they're close to perfect, and then wait for an expansion. That is not really the goal remotely of the seasonal content. And the change here is, at least with seasonal characters now, Blizzard has said that they will be moved into what they call the Eternal Realm once you're done with that season. So this is I think this is a pretty significant change where the idea is that, at least for the first few seasons here, that is theoretically when you should be leveling your alts. And given the fact that I have done 3 characters at this point.
Well, you want to level your alts after you level your main. I mean, you can level your alt whenever you want. I'm not entirely sure what he's trying to say here. Yeah, I'm confused.
Bounce around between them, I would probably...
Change Diablo 2 had the same setup? Yeah, I mean, whenever a Diablo 2 season came out, you had to re-level, right? Like, I'm not a Diablo 2 player, but I just want to make sure you did have to re-level whenever a Diablo 2 season came out? Yes, okay. So, and it was the same with Diablo 3. Reaper of Souls. I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the bathroom. Okay. We be back. Casual confused about replayability in an ARPG, too much attachment. Is that his fault, though? And how is replayability? And I feel like I don't think that it's a fair comparison to draw a 1-to-1 of a Diablo 3 season and a Diablo 4 season. Because a Diablo 4 season, you have to farm Renown out as well. There are a lot of extra things you have to do in Diablo 4 seasons that you didn't have to do in Diablo 3 seasons. So, like, they're just fundamentally the different things.
Screwed up a little bit, and I will have to do Necromancer or Sorcerer if I want to start from scratch for a new season. One thing that remains a little unclear is how exactly your Eternal characters can contribute to the season. I
mean, if it's like any other ARPG, they're effectively 2 different games.
Because things are different in the sense where now Diablo 4 has a battle pass. And, I do not want to spend $25 on a single set of armor for my characters. I would pay $10 or whatever it is to kind of go through a season pass and unlock cosmetics that way. That to me is a little more appealing. Go to 1 to 100.
I don't give a fuck about this either way.
The ornaments in the season pass, they have said, are universal ornaments, so you're unlocking them across all your characters.
It's all.
And then there's going to be
to
stuff like, I think, mounts and mount armor and mount trophies. I don't know. There's a lot of things they have. And then for seasonal stuff, for seasonal characters,
Yeah.
on the free track, there are some bonuses, like bonuses to currency collection and gold and
Yeah, sure.
XP to make that process go a little bit faster.
Right.
But I am very curious how this is going to go over, because on the one hand, this has been how Diablo seasons have worked essentially forever. Like Diablo 2 had this to a certain extent, Diablo 3 had this. Diablo 3 had like 28 seasons.
So then why is it problematic when Diablo 4 does the exact same thing?
Or something, and so clearly there was a market for that, although Diablo 4 is many people's first Diablo game. And I do wonder...
Well, so, I mean, you can use that argument for Diablo 3, because at the time, Diablo 3 was the fastest selling PC game. Here, I'll show you. So here we go. We'll take a look at it right here. Diablo 3 is fastest selling PC game. This is Diablo 3. Sold more than 3.5 million copies in a single day. So, like, if you use the logic and the argumentation that, okay, well, because Diablo 4 is really popular and a lot of people played Diablo 4, you could have used that exact same thinking on Diablo 3. There you go. I just wanted to show you guys that Diablo 3 was the exact same thing in the exact same situation.
What kind of wall people might run into if suddenly they figure out that every season the goal is to re-level a character. And for the first, I guess, 4 seasons, the first year, that could mean if you're waiting to start an alt, then you just do your alt for that season.
Yeah.
And then that becomes...
Yeah, that's usually what you do. Yeah.
An eternal character that you can save. That's not a bad plan. I do wonder what happens in the longer term here, where, okay, we have all the classes now. You know, you're just re-leveling alternate versions of those characters, which is definitely how Diablo 3 worked.
Well, yeah, you do. And the idea is that the season changes are transformative enough to the gameplay that alongside with the patch changes, that the game is transformed enough that it's a new experience by playing a new character. So, like, for example, in PoE, whenever I come back and I play a Necromancer, like a Carrion Golem Necromancer, I played this 2 different leagues. I think it was Elementalist, actually, because of the fucking... It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I played like a Golem Elementalist. That is a completely different experience than whenever I played Cast on Crit Ice Nova Shadow. And that is a completely different experience than whenever I played this league, Ward Loop. And each one of them are just so fundamentally different that whenever I play the new season, I am effectively playing a new game because of how different the character is and how much different things I'm doing that goes into designing and making that character good. Same with Righteous Fire. So, like, that's the idea, is that seasons are transformative enough to where it becomes exciting to play the same game again because you're going through it with a completely different lens. Do people ever complain about Diablo 3 in this regard, though? Diablo 3 is an interesting situation because Diablo 3 was basically dying until Reaper of Souls came out because people ran out of stuff to do on the effectively Eternal Realm. Because Diablo 3 had this. They had no seasons, and the game just slowly bled out from players because they ran out of things to do. And then they added seasons, and seasons were great for a while. Like, Diablo seasons were just popping. Like, I would say, like, the first, 10 seasons of Diablo 3 were really good. And then the problem is that the next 10 were the same as the first 10. And there wasn't enough innovation on the game and changes in the game to retain people's interest. Like, my last season that I played was Season 6, for comparison.
That doesn't really hold a ton of appeal to me. I guess it is a giant, huge pain to, change builds right now. I just saw Joseph say on Twitter that they are considering loadouts for the future, which is cool.
They should consider loadouts. It's a smart thing to do. There's no reason not to do that.
Probably a news item that was just in my replies somewhere. it is a giant pain to change over. Like I'm struggling now with my barbarian in tier 4 here a little bit because I'm very not meta. But like to think about changing to a bleed build, it's like to refarm all the ancestrals and
I think the problem with, and I can see why people are saying that it's annoying to change your build. I think the problem is the fact that you have level scaling. So the game just gets harder and harder and harder. So it's not like you can go down to like, you know, level 50 again and like refarm your gear. No, you have to stay like in PoE, for example. If you change your build, like I was doing you know, T16s with like Toxic Rain, then I change over to Ward Loop and I start doing T5s and T3s and T7s, and then I work my way back up. But if you have level scaling and you're level scaled all the way up to T16, then you have to start at T16. So yeah, I do think this is a problem that is exacerbated by the level scaling and the stat increases that it creates.
You know, spend millions of dollars on re-getting all my Paragon points and skill points, and like it's certainly a process. So I guess maybe the idea is that you could level an alternate barbarian to do another kind of build. However,
that is not fun to me. I don't think that the solution to playing another character should ever be playing another build. Should be make another character of that same thing. I don't think that's like that's not fun to me. Like, I mean, maybe again, this is me being a casual, but like if I'm playing a barbarian, I want to play different things that a barbarian can do. I don't want to have to make an entirely new barbarian just because of an artificial restriction that's put into the game to make me make a second barbarian. That sounds like garbage.
you're re-leveling the whole thing. And I just talked about today how the higher levels of Diablo, you know, if you get one barbarian to 100, probably not going to want to do that again on a second barbarian.
And he's right about this, because the end part of Diablo 4 is boring because, again, you hit this plateau on gearing, and I showed this before, I'll show it again. You hit this plateau on gearing where you're effectively not getting any crazy new cool items anymore. Now you're just perfecting the existing items that you have and then re-rolling the stats over and over. It's fucking boring. PoE doesn't have this problem. It has other problems. I'm not saying PoE is perfect, but PoE doesn't have this specific problem.
Because the final stages of that grind are so significantly longer than anything else.
Yeah, they are. They're too long.
I'm still kind of debating how I'm going to engage with Diablo seasonal content.
Yeah.
Because one of the questions I have is what can your eternal characters do?
And I think also, like, it's so hard to make a decision whether you should engage with the seasonal content or not, because we don't even know what it is. Like, we have no idea. So how can you make a decision? You're writing a blank check at this point.
During a season of Diablo 4, because that has not really been made clear yet. They are going to do some sort of developer deep dive into seasons in July, but that's a couple weeks away, so I'm kind of just left to speculate at the moment. If your eternal characters can contribute some sort of XP toward their specific milestones within the season. That's what they went over with me beforehand. So it's kind of like Destiny seasonal challenges, where it's like, do this specific thing, and that will give you big chunks of XP to get through the battle pass.
I'm going to have to say again, I think the solution is to just allow the battle pass to have an Eternal Realm option. I think at least for the first season, for so many people that didn't understand it, this seems like just the smartest and best option. And I think not allowing that, like the mindset of not allowing that is like, I want to punish these players and make them play the game the way I want them to. And I just don't think that's healthy for a game.
I do not know if all of those are only exclusive to seasonal characters and you just can't do them on permanent characters. That seems like that could be the case, given how reliant past Diablo seasons were on this idea of a brand new character.
It's like it would solve the negative issues people have. Like, I just don't understand, like, is there any prestige in finishing a battle pass? No, right? Nobody cares? So who gives a fuck? What are we fighting over? Who gives who cares?
So I don't really know how that's going to play out. I am not 100% sure if your permanent characters can play the new quest lines. I would think they could. because I think the content of the season is free. You're just paying for the battle pass. Like that is what is being sold with the season.
I'm not sure if they're going to do that because
so
PoE doesn't decide to move things into standard until after the league. The league is effectively a beta test for a mechanic or a system to go into the core game. So I don't know if Diablo is going to do that or not.
If I can play the new content, experience the new enemies, if I can farm the new loot items without leveling a new character, from level 1 again, that has some appeal to me. Well, I might do this for, Sorcerer and Necromancer, which are characters I don't have yet. I just wonder past that, like I've already started these ults, I don't really want to delete my 56 Rogue or even my 32 Druid. Like, yes, I know you can power level and blah, 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 but like, I don't really want to do that again. So I'm very curious kind of what you all think about this, because
I think having to, like, and this is just the way that I play ARPGs. I mean, I can't speak to, like, the way everybody should play them. But to me, the way I play them is that I go into an ARPG, I plan out what I want to play, I watch Zizrain, I watch Mathel, I watch, like, like one of these different guys that does build guides, right? I mean, it's just that simple. And I'll see what they think is good, and then maybe I'll play one of those for PoE. And then if I'm really enjoying the league and I'm watching streams and it looks like another build is really, really fun, then maybe I'll go play that instead. Not Quinn. Well, Quinn and like DS Lily, like you guys mentioned them, they play hardcore, right? So like the way you play the game on hardcore is a lot different. Whereas like Zizrain does like meta content, so like it's not just for hardcore. But like Mathel doesn't do that. So like that's really the difference. I watch all of their content though, by the way. And the point that I'm making is that like I go into it and I want to play a new type of character, and then if I'm really enjoying the game, I'll play another character after that based off of what seems to be really fun during that league. Like for example, like Skeleton Mages, like I was thinking about playing that, or playing fucking like Blade Vortex or something like that.
It's kind of a split between
that's the way I do it.
Diablo veterans and new players that hear this and they're like, wait, what? Like I have to level up character from scratch? Like it doesn't really sound like it makes a ton of sense, or that's something that's very appealing, and yet a ton of people love it. But like I just some guy replied to me on Twitter and he's like, eternal characters are for like testing up builds and preparing for seasonal content, because that's like when the seasonal race happens. I'm like,
I don't think that you can make, the thing is that the race, and this is probably what Paul's going to say, is like the race appeals to a 0.1% of players. Like 1 in 1,000 people that are playing this game actually care about the race in a way that it will affect the way they play the game, beyond like maybe they'll think, oh, I'm going to be in the race on the first day, and then they see how far they are behind because they're not, like they're not fucking neckbeards playing this game all the time, and then they're like, okay, never mind, I'll just play casually. Yeah, it's a 0.1% thing.
It sounds like a very not fun way to look at it. Yeah, the metaphor was that Diablo characters are like Legos. Like it's not really about it's not really about the finished project. It's about getting there. And I just don't know if I share that philosophy. Like I get that it would be hard to create seasons for Diablo if
I feel like corgis are kind of just like dogs that are cats. I feel kind of like I've seen them like, yeah, they're kind of like, they're about the size of a cat. They're not like ferocious or crazy. I don't know, I just feel that way. That's always been my vibe.
You do have people that are just very quickly maxing classes to 100 because like what is left to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So for those people, I get that the kind of releveling process may make sense if they're that into the game where they just want to keep releveling characters after characters after characters every season. I'm just hoping that there is enough stuff for eternal characters to do where I at least feel like I can engage with some of the content. I don't need to grind like Diablo seasons nonstop. Like I don't really want to. That's the other factor here is
it's a really weird thing that Blizzard is in the middle of, because if they add the seasonal content into the Eternal Realms, why would somebody want to re-level a character in seasons if they could just automatically go and play it at their level 100 or level 90 or whatever in the Eternal Realm? just for the ladder. And it's like the ladder is only appealing again for 0.1%. Most people don't give a fuck about the ladder. So it's like you have to make it a season, or then people will just never swap over. Or a lot of people won't because it's easier and it takes less time. However, is that a good decision? I don't know. I really don't know. The option should be there, yeah, but it's like what the guy just said. I have so much other stuff to do. I don't really want to re-level and do re-renown. To me, I don't have a problem doing re-leveling because that's part of the, like, in my opinion, like, re-leveling is part of building a character, and doing renown is part of just going through Blizzard's bullshit. Sucks for them, though. Don't play ladder. I don't think that, like, the ladder aspect of the Diablo 4 seasons should even be taken into account. Maybe I'm crazy, but, like, I don't even think that should be on their radar. I think that what they should focus on is, like, how can you make a good game experience, and the ladder is secondary. Because it's ironic that people care so much about the ladder, because a lot of us from PoE, people from PoE that go to Diablo 4, there's not really a ladder in PoE, really. I mean, there's like a notification who gets like the first Shaper kill or something like that. But there's not like a list of like the top players. PoE Racing, PoE Ninja, yeah, it's like a third-party website. I don't know, like, do you guys think that's the same thing? I feel like a third-party website is very different than there being an in-game ladder. No, they have a ladder on the official website, but that's just for leveling, and doesn't that get filled in like less than a week? I've never seen it. Yeah, I've never seen it. Like in Diablo 4 or Diablo 3, I was constantly looking at the ladder, seeing where I was at on the ladder. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I feel like ladder is like not very relevant to me in PoE. Like, I never think about it. I never think about where I am on position. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but like, I'm not even thinking about that whenever the league comes out. I'm just playing the game.
Time where I don't know if I want to keep re-leveling new characters and characters. Like, I have other games I have to play.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't just like give up Destiny, and like, I don't want to give up Destiny. I still enjoy Destiny. So if I can at least maybe avoid part of this grind for myself and still experience it to some extent on the characters I already have.
I'd really be curious to hear what this guy's perspective is on the difference between having to re-level a character versus refarm renown. Because I bet the real problem that he has, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, I don't know this, but like, I bet that if he only had to re-level and that was it probably wouldn't be that bad.
That has some appeal to me. I guess it's just not really clear how things are going to fully change between, Diablo 2 and 3 seasons with Diablo 4 seasons, with the addition of the Battle Pass and like self-contained seasonal missions and enemies and loot and things. Like, some of this stuff wasn't around previously, and Diablo wasn't quite as heavily leaning on its live service ambitions. We also don't know when the first expansion is coming.
I mean, I think that they were definitely leaning on live service as Diablo 3. I mean, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls is a live service game, but if you want to say leaning on it in terms of battle passes, yes, that's correct.
If you have one main character now, and then you do 4 alts for each season, and then there's an expansion, and it introduces paladins, let's say. I absolutely believe paladins are coming.
It's got to be paladins.
That's another character that you can level from scratch for a season. So, I'm very curious how this is going to go with the mix of old players and the new players running into a system they might be unfamiliar with. They have said some stuff is carrying over, like the Fog of War on the map is going to be cleared if you've cleared that before. The Altars of Lilith are not going to reset. However, the rest of Renown is essentially going to reset. So like the dungeons, the strongholds, all the side missions, which...
See, you see how he's saying it? This is exactly what I'm fucking talking about. Just look at how he's saying it, man.
Does not sound very fun to me.
No, it doesn't. And that's because it's not fun. It's not. Because a lot of people would do... So, whenever you make people have to do something, I think that in a lot of cases, you get a lot of people doing it just because they have to do it. Like, I probably would have gone through the side quests and listened to them if I didn't need to do them for Paragon points. But because I needed to do them for Paragon points, I just wanted to complete them as quickly as possible so I could move on with playing the game. Because I think that the side quests are actually, some of them are genuinely very good. I actually think that they're very, very good. They're well defined. They're all voice acted. And I like them. But the problem, like, you know, like the exorcism one, or the one to where you go down to where like the cinematic happened. That's just two examples that come off the top of my head. And those are great. But I didn't even pay attention to any of that. Because my goal is to complete this as quickly as possible, because Diablo is all about optimization, all about farming. So I'm farming these quests, getting them done. So the idea that you have to farm something that's supposed to be a fun addition to the lore of the game to add texture to the world, and you're just doing it as quickly as possible because you just want to get your Paragon points and move on, that doesn't sound fun at all. To be fair, they didn't make renown based off percentage of objectives completed. They don't require 100% completion. What do you mean, to be fair? I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do a single one of them again. I don't want to do half of them. No, I don't want to do a single one. Nobody does. And if you do, you should allow the seasonal realms to reset it, and you can do them, but they don't increase your renown. So you can do them. Sure, you can redo them every season, but you don't have to.
All of that stuff is resetting. This is also an era where you can skip campaign. So it's not like some of the older games where you were often replaying the campaign like a million times to the point where like you turn off dialogue because you just don't want to hear the same stuff anymore. Really, you only have to play the campaign once in Diablo now, which I really like. It was a very good campaign. Don't get me wrong. I played it twice because I played it on my review build also. But I don't want to play it, you know, in Diablo 3 it was terrible because you had to play through the whole campaign on like different difficulties with each character, and like it was, you really got sick of it by the end of that. So I think they made some significant progress in that area, and I'm glad they did it the way they did it. I'm just looking forward to hearing more about season specific.
No, he's right. He's talking about Vanilla D3. In Vanilla D3, you had normal mode, nightmare, hell, and inferno. He's right.
Specifically, and kind of knowing what you can do and what you can't do, and what definitely requires a seasonal character and what may not. How the battle pass works into this, what's in the battle pass, what the theme of the season is. They said they're essentially doing, you know, themed seasons. So the example they always give is it's a zombie season. They're not actually doing zombies, but like some sort of specific theme for a season. They said they're not really doing any like goofy things. Like you're not going to see like silly Diablo armor skins anytime soon. Like
yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that either. Somebody says all I hear from this guy is that the game doesn't fit his schedule and his playstyle, so he wants the game to change. Yeah, yes, that's correct. I commend you for your ability to see that. You're right. This is his opinion.
They want to keep with the vibe of the game as it stands currently. Scary nightmare crap, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, LD armor looks pretty badass right now, so if it's more of that, I'm all for it. But yeah, so I'm just curious how this goes. I will do a circle back here once we have more information. I'm bugging some of the Diablo people on Twitter to answer some of my questions. We'll see if they get back to me. They're a very friendly, accommodating bunch. Like even Rod Ferguson's like the director of the whole franchise, and he takes time to like respond to me when I bother him with stuff. So that's very kind. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like if you're like a hardcore Diablo 3 seasonal player and you really like that, like I'm wondering what you really like about that. If you're a new player and you're like that sucks, like, and you're gonna not engage with it, I'm curious as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.
I don't see this video being that. Like, I thought this video was going to be way more upsetting. There's nothing problematic that he said at all. It seemed totally fine. It entered by mistake, but he wants the game to change completely for his own reasons, not the reasons everyone else wants or how the game is designed. Well, number one, you don't speak for everyone else, and so that's not really an argument that you can make. Also, how the game is designed is a reflection on what the players want, and he is reflecting what he wants as a player. So that's just a very stupid way to look at it. I think that you're just presupposing that you have the majority opinion behind you, which could be true, but also, like, what would be the harm in this context of allowing somebody to progress through the battle pass in the Eternal Realm? Like, I don't see, like, what is this, like, is it going to harm the sanctity of the battle pass cosmetics? Get the fuck out of here. I don't care about that. I don't think a lot of people do, but maybe they do. I certainly don't. So yeah, it's silly. Made the argument about new players dumbing down retail WoW. That'll happen if Diablo follows down the same path. I think that there's always going to be a give and take, and if you actually listen to what I said about retail WoW, you would actually know that I think the opposite. So your lack of understanding on my position doesn't make me wrong. Because the actual problem with retail WoW is that it caters too much towards hardcore players. That's why everybody's going and playing classic WoW, is because it's simple. So in fact, I'm saying the exact opposite. Now, yes, retail WoW has certain problems that are created by casual players that are lazy, absolutely. And those are issues. However, the reason why classic WoW is so popular is because it's an easier version of the game that is simpler and easier to understand. So it's the opposite. The Battle Pass progress is tied to the season journey. So to have Battle Pass progress in the Eternal Realm, you need to put the season journey into Eternal and all the new season mechanics, making the season realm pointless. Well, you could just change what the objectives are. Do you really think that it's... like, is Blizzard really not able to change, like, kill 10 of one thing to kill 10 of something else on the Eternal Realm? Like, are they really not able to do this? Like, get the fuck out of here. Of course they can do that. Just change how it works. Yeah, like, what do you mean? This is a billion-dollar company. They can't figure out how to reorient a battle pass? Is this a joke? Let's look at a few more. We'll read a few more comments about this, because I think this is a this is a very big topic. What's your opinion on seasons being 100 plus, like season 1 with being going from like 100 to 120? I disagree with that, because I think that people will perceive going to 120 to be, oh, I'm too far behind in the game, so I don't want to keep playing it. Like, that's the problem that happened with World of Warcraft, is that people are like, oh, the game goes up to 110 now, it's going to take too long for me to get there. So yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Now, I think they could add Paragon levels to that as well, like above 100, sure. But they should not increase the hard level cap. No, I don't think so. Quinn, reaction to the video could be interesting to watch. Maybe I'll watch that tomorrow or something. I was going to watch that Destiny video, and that's the next thing I'm going to look at. And then after that, I want to actually play the game, because, you know, we've been playing this for a while. I'm talking about this for a while. I made a video about the issue of having to be both level 100 with the goal of the statue and all the drama that it created. It's whatever. In my opinion, Diablo 4 is by definition a grindy game. It has to be, but to strike a good balance of replayability and hard, it will never appeal to people who don't like grindy games. So, like, if Diablo is a grindy game, does that mean that every grind in Diablo is fundamentally good because Diablo is a grindy game? I think that's a very, very bad way to look at things. So you can't, like, I just don't like this logic that, like, you create a definition and then you work backwards from that definition in order to justify what your perspective is. So because you create this, like, fucking, this definition that has, like, a category, and because the thing that you want fits into the category of your definition, then it is categorically good? Why? That doesn't even make any, it's like, it's reverse logic. Not take, but grindy is not always bad in my opinion. Some grinds are good. Some grinds are good. And the way that you structured that sentence means that you know that I'm right about this. Because if some grinds are good, what does that mean about other grinds? Riker has the best take on this. Maybe I'll have to look at it. They're not as good. Yeah, there you go. Bad take. What's the gameplay of the Eternal Realm? The point of the season is to build new characters. What's the gameplay of Eternal Realm? Well, you level up your character and you make your character stronger and you do dungeons and then you beat the content in the game. What did you think it was? I don't understand. Yeah. How much should Blizzard cater to the casual community of Diablo 4 and balance with the hardcore community? Should they really have a small bit of the hardcore community that they can focus on while primarily update the casual side of things? This is what I think that they should do, okay? All right, I'm going to type it out. Okay. Alrighty, we're going to do this. We're going to watch the Destiny video. How Blizz should fix the D4 season problem. I'm going to put problem in quotations, obviously. No refarming renown. It is 100% account wide with no restrictions. With no restrictions. Number 2, let's see. Oh, fuck. What was I thinking before? Allow people to prog the battle pass on the Eternal Realm with different goals but same rewards. That's it, right? Did we beat it? Wait, did I just finish the problem? Did I solve everything? I think I did. Holy shit. You gotta send this to Rod Ferguson right now. Paul Tassi responded to you? Okay, this is what he says. So this is his response to, like, me looking at this video. I'm going to say again, allow the battle pass to have an Eternal Realm option. Who are we fighting over? Who cares? Woo. True. He disagrees with some things, but he's really getting what I'm trying to say, which I appreciate. I thought this video was going to be more upsetting. There's nothing I said was problematic at all. Thanks, man. The whole thing made my night. Oh, there we go. Yep. There it is. It's that simple.